Hello and welcome. My name is Jocelyn and today we have a very exciting Pan Those Eyeshadows update in my Pan Those Eyeshadows project pan, of course. And I am panning a total of 5 eyeshadows at a time, and this is a rolling project pan. So whenever I hit pan on one of those eyeshadows, I roll a new one in. And at the beginning of this project, I created a spreadsheet with all of my eyeshadows on it, and that's how the shadows that I had to pan were chosen. There are some shadows on my spreadsheet, like you'll see right here, that are grayed out. So those are ones that I have absolutely no interest in panning. And throughout the course of this project, there might be a handful that are picked for me and I try out and I decide I don't have any interest in panning. One of those eyeshadows is one that I'm going to share with you today. I am rolling it out because I just hate working with it, and I have too many eyeshadows that I really love and would love panning to use one that I don't really love and I do not want to pan. So I have one eyeshadow like that, and I have one that I have actually hit pan on, so I will be rolling out 2 eyeshadows and rolling in 2 new eyeshadows, which is extremely exciting. I'm trying to remember when I started this project pan. Let's find out, shall we? It's been a couple months and this is the first time I will be rolling things out and rolling new things in. Okay, so 4 months ago. So the end of January was my intro video, so that's February, March, April, and almost all of May. So it's almost taken me 4 months to hit pan on one of these shadows, but I have progress on 2 of them, not so much progress on the other one, and then we're rolling 2 out. So hopefully this will start moving a little bit faster. Also, in case you're not familiar with this project of mine yet, almost all of the shades that I rolled into this project at the beginning were brand new shades, not brand new, but ones that I hadn't used that much. So I had a long way to go. Okay, so let's start with the shadows that I have progress on that are staying in this project pan. We'll go ahead and start with the shade that's in the Wizardry and Witchcraft Storybook Cosmetics palette. I'm actually wearing this shade all over my eye today. This is the goldish shimmer shade, the shade Bewitched in this palette, and you can already see from far away the dip in here. So let me give you a close-up. So I have got quite the dip in here, and I have used this shade a few times since my last update, and we're definitely making a dent into there. I really like this shade, especially now that it's more warmer weather and more summertime, late spring. This is just a very appropriate tone for this time of year, so I'll be using that definitely more and be making very good progress on this coming up. The next shade that I've been making decent progress on, this is one that I had maybe used once, maybe not at all before this project, but I've got quite a dent in it, and it is a shade in the Disney Designer Collection, a collaboration with ColourPop, and it is the shade Juju. It's in this top row right here. It's this matte pink shade. I have been using this a fair amount, not as much as I was using it before, but like I said, this started out full, completely full, and we've got a decent dent in there. So yeah, hopefully it might take me another couple of months to hit pan on that, but maybe not. I'm not sure. These pans are kind of deep, so probably. And the last palette that's staying in this project, I honestly don't think I used this once between this last update and this one right now. It's a shade in the Huda Beauty Desert Dusk palette, and it is the shade Cashmere, which is in this bottom corner. I, again, do not think that I used this once in the last month, so there should be no progress in there. This is definitely one that I need to start using, but I've been focusing on some of the other shades and not this one. So this does need to be one that I work on, but there's no progress yet. Okay, so let's first talk about the shadow that I am rolling out because I actually hit pan on it, and it is the shadow in the Give It To Me Straight palette, which I'm not surprised that this is the first one that I'm rolling out because I really love this palette and I really liked this shade. So there is definitely pan in this, but not a huge pan. But I've been using this so much that we're gonna go ahead and call it good. It is the shade Straight Up, which is in this top row. So I don't know, yeah, I'm sure you can see it. There's definitely pan on the bottom right there, just a little sizable little pan, and that's enough for me. The other one that I'm rolling out of this project is the one in this palette right here. This is the X's and O's palette by ColourPop, and it is the shade 20 something, which is this really chunky gold in the top row. I'll go ahead and give it a swatch. So here's kind of a swatch. It's just a chunky, not fun to work with shade. It's got a little bit of a flip in it, but I've tried wetting it, I've tried using my finger, I've tried putting it on dry, and no matter what I do, it just doesn't look that good on the lid. And so I'm gonna go ahead and roll it out. I will give you, I guess, a close-up of it. So I did create a bit of a dent in here, but I hated reaching for this because I just did not like working with it. And so, like I mentioned at the beginning of this video, I don't want to try and pan shades that I really just hate when there's so many shades that I really love. So this is getting rolled out, which is okay. There are many other shades in here that I would be okay with panning. Basically anything in the bottom 2 rows, and possibly the shade Rookie, which is a little bit similar to 20 something, but you do get a little more pigment in here. Yeah, this one's a lot better than the shade 20 something. Unfortunate, but I'm gonna go ahead and call it. We now have 3 palettes, which means we need 2 more. I have my spreadsheet open, and then I also have Google's random number generator that's gonna help me pick a shade to use for probably the next 3 months. So, all right, generate. Shade number 338. Where is that? Okay, interesting. So we are choosing a shade out of the ColourPop, the Zodiac palette, another freaking ColourPop palette. What are the odds? But I'm very excited about the shade that was chosen because it's Gemini season. The shade that was chosen was the Gemini, which also, if you didn't know, I'm a Gemini. My birthday's on June 8th, so coming up here real fast. Let's go ahead and give it a swatch. Okay. All right, not a bad shade, not really too similar to anything that I have. I mean, sort of the gold shade that is in the Wizardry and Witchcraft palette, but this one definitely pulls a lot more yellow, and then it does have a bit of an orangey shift to it. So, okay, this is not a palette that I've gotten too much use out of, and a lot of times with these palettes, when I go to use that shade, I try and incorporate some of the other shadows in that palette. This is definitely a very interesting palette, so I don't know how much I'll be able to combine the Gemini with some of the other shades in here, but maybe I'll give it a try. I'm pretty excited about that. Again, that's not a shade that I've used too much, but judging just by swatching it, it does have a really nice formula, and I like that it's kind of a funky shade. So, okay, hopefully this next one will not be another ColourPop palette. Oh yeah. Generate, shade number 127. Okay, so shade number 127 on my spreadsheet comes from the Huda Beauty Coral Obsessions palette, which is one of my favorite, if not, I think actually my favorite Huda Beauty palettes. And these aren't, there's not names on these shades, but it is shade number 3, right? Yep, 127, shade number 3, which go this direction. So 1, 2, 3 is actually one of my favorite shades in the palette. So here's what this shade looks like. Ooh. Okay, I promise they blend a lot better on the eyes than it looks right here. I actually really love this shade. So I love almost all of the mattes in this palette except for the yellow and this brighter corally color. So the fact that I got this one is very exciting, and I think that I'll be able to combine this with some of the other shades that were chosen for me. And especially now that it's summertime, I don't think I'll have an issue with hitting pan on this. And this is a really easy palette that I can just use this and throw together a look. Maybe I can use this as an all over matte shade. I don't know, we'll have to see, but I am very excited. Okay, so the 2 new palettes that we're bringing in is another ColourPop palette, the Zodiac palette, and the Huda Beauty Coral Obsessions, one of my favorites. Not so much a favorite, even though I love the packaging on this so much. We now have 2 ColourPop palettes. I just realized 2 Huda Beauty palettes and the Wizardry and Witchcraft palette. So I expect that I'll probably hit pan on this one next, followed by probably the matte pink in this one, and then possibly last the Huda Beauty one, but we'll have to see. If you'd like to keep up with my updates, definitely consider subscribing. And if you like this video, if you like Project Pans, consider giving this video a thumbs up. It helps me out oh so much. And I think that is everything I have for you today. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next one.